so following on from when I came back from Egypt, kind of like a mental note for myself, and I've realised like kind of like making videos is kind of like my little bit of therapy. I've been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder since I was 17. Yeah, to be quite honest, I could have done with a lot of help when I was a teenager, but situations as they were, it wasn't sort of doable. Yeah, but following on from Egypt, so I got back, I ended up getting into bed. I woke up in the morning. I woke the kids' dad up. I was like, yeah, we need to go to A&E. Bearing in mind, I didn't know I was all stitched up. I saw a few stitches on my left leg. I didn't see the stitches on my right leg. It was when I did it. I did it when I was hiding in a like army tank truck thing. I shot my leg. I ended up like a centimetre wound. Weirdly, it didn't really bleed all that much. Yeah, when I came back, I went to an urgent care centre with the kid's dad. I barely could walk. I just put on any clothes, and usually I'm quite I wouldn't say like someone I can see I'm a bit vain, and it's not a really nice thing to say, but I'm quite like I like to dress nice. Like they say dress nice, what they say, dress well, dress good, feel good, and it is true. I'm currently sat here absolutely no makeup on. I've lost God knows how much weight. It's not always a bad thing, but bags galore has not helped. Anyway, I went to urgent care. I was seen in urgent care, and when he explained about the ashes, bearing in mind I was covered head to toe in bruises, I really don't think anyone believes me because I healed so fast. I came back, went to urgent care. That day I was supposed to see my partner in prison. Hadn't ate for some time. I'm not going to go into that because it's not my business to talk about. But I was worried about him when I booked to go see him the day I got back, and he was my main priority that day. I have to go in urgent care. They said, no, you need to go to A&E. And I begged Paul, I said, listen, I'll go to A&E after I've seen Paul. After I've seen my partner. And no, Paul was adamant. I went to A&E, kept saying, think of you first. And I knew I had another visit booked for the Thursday. Hang on a minute. I got back on the Thursday. I'm pretty sure I had another visit booked on the Friday, or the week after. But I was severely worried about him. I was panicking about him because he had mates, and I was severely worried about him. I ended up going to A&E anyway. I sat there. I think it was the quickest I've ever got through A&E, bearing in mind it was packed. I got there. They got me straight through, absolutely straight through. I waited for triage for 20 minutes. Seeing triage, they were like quite shocked with how bad it was. I was literally bent over in agony. The main pain was, at that point, was the back of my leg and my back, which I did primarily cause from hiding in this tank. And after being seen by triage, they got me back in after 10 minutes. Done a CCT scan, marked all the markings, checked my wound at the back of my leg. Thankfully it was stitched. It didn't look too bad at the time, but bearing in mind it had only been stitched 2 days before, so obviously it didn't look too bad. I left after about 2 hours. A woman got safeguarding involved, but she mentioned the children, and she said obviously because the children were there, she had to get safeguarding involved, and my head just flipped. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to end up social services on me back. And the last thing any mother or father wants is social services on the back. I think it's a fear for a lot of parents, and that a fear I walked out. During the CCT scan, they didn't find much other than a lesion on my left breast, which I have got to go for a bit of a surgical on just to test the lesion, make sure it's not cancerous, fingers crossed. I think that will be the cherry on the fucking cake. Yeah, so I walked out after safeguard and got involved to sign myself out and I went home. Yeah, but like I went home and I kind of just pulled through it. I just pulled through the pain. I was in absolute agony, but I just pulled through it. Picked myself up and just started cleaning. I was like, I've got to do something. I've got to clean. My house is a mess. I've got to sort it. Obviously, like, messes are always the worst thing ever. Every home gets messy. It's just one of those things. But coming back off holiday, you can imagine how much stuff was there around. Yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit of it done. So I just pulled through it. I started cleaning. Pulled through the pain. By the Friday, I felt quite well. Like, I was walking about quite well. Considering I had to get pushed through the airport on a wheelchair, and I couldn't walk when I went to A&E. It was a miracle by the Friday that I was walking, and I am like, I've got to stop saying this, but I'm like Wolverine. I hear, like, my bruises were healing, like, by the day. I ended up going with my friends. I went for a drink. Being in mind, I don't really drink. I think I sat there and drank 2 drinks all night. I'm not much of a drinker. Usually when I get drunk, I just pass out nervously. And it doesn't take much for me to get drunk. So I was drinking little cocktails and they absolutely done nothing. I had a lovely time with my best mate. She was quite shocked by the bruises. She took pictures of all of them from head to toe. What? No. It's like my therapy routine. Just making videos and sticking it on YouTube. It's like therapy and I just getting out. There's some ladies looking after me in the hospital. I went to hospital. Yes, I ended up in one of these. I'm surprised, probably the best one I've ever been to. They're lovely here. The staff are absolutely lovely. I don't think I've made a good impression with the girls here, which I usually don't. I usually tend to be the talk of the town. I just fuck up. I have no idea how bad I fuck up. Anywho, so yeah, I went to my friend's herders. She took pictures of my whole body and she was quite shocked. I was covered head to toe. Weirdly, I'm going to go back a little bit. I couldn't get in the shower on the first day. I was in too much agony. I wouldn't have been able to stand there. But on the Friday, it was like, I needed a shower. And I was like, I've got this hydrochloride, it's like a serum. Probably the best thing I've ever bought. And it's practically run out now. When I got to the hotel, I am going back a bit, yeah. When I got back to the hotel, I washed my face, put some hydrochloride on it and a bit of moisturiser, because my face, I've got a bit of scarring on me, but you can't really see. It was like someone had got sandpaper and scrubbed my face with sandpaper. I'm not sure how I got it. I'm guessing it was when I jumped out the taxi. Bearing in mind, the taxi weren't fucking moving. I just ended up with a face full of scrapes. Yeah. Anyway, hydrochloride on my face at the hotel. When I came home, I washed my face again, hydrochloride, bit of moisturiser, but weirdly on the Friday, I washed my face. And I was like, I was rubbing my skin and it was like exfoliating off my skin. It was so weird. It just rubbed off. Is that even normal? Just rubbing your face on the scalp, just disappearing that you've got on your face, like what? 3 days before. Like, I wouldn't say that's like, yeah, something that usually happens. I don't know. Probably the miracle fucking hydrochloride and the absolute wonder super gaudy, but like body butter. Anyway, yeah, so I ended up at Sarah's. She mapped all the bruises on my body, face practically healed. And yeah, about a night, like I said. Day after, I ended up going home that morning. Day after, which was a Saturday, I didn't sleep that night. That night, I started losing the plot again. Because like I haven't been well for a while. It's been years. I haven't been well for like mentally like stable. But yeah, I had to go to a start clinic. It was like a rape victims clinic. I had 2 young ladies take me there, absolutely lovely ladies, absolutely lovely. They were very pleasant towards me. They had patience for me. Yeah, but like I did start losing plot the night that. I'm going back a bit. I did start losing the plot a little bit the night I was with Sarah. We best mates for 27 years, and I started thinking my partner was dead. He had starved and he died, and started thinking it's all my fault. And that morning I went home, convinced he was dead. Cried so much, thinking, oh my God, my partner's dead and it's my fault. And then he had to go to the start clinic on top of it. It was in Liverpool next to a sexual health clinic, but it was like kind of out the way next to a sexual health clinic, but it wasn't named. And when you Google start clinic, it does not show up. So I don't know whether the police got the name wrong or they've kind of made a mistake, but it was a rape victims unit. I went in. There was a lovely lady there, very, very lovely. And I let my emotions out about what had happened over there. Because still at the time, I was quite confused about what happened. It was so blasé to me that I couldn't really explain it. It was like talking about it now, it's making a lot of sense. But yeah, my head was like kind of coming to thing. I was like, I did get raped over there. I just broke down. I had a little cry, not a big cry, just a little like whine. And then there was like another like 2 ladies that came in, and they had to cross-examine me. And I've never been through anything like that before. And it was very like, it's like very condescending. And as a woman who's been through mental health and dealt with schizophrenic episodes all her life and feeling like people are talking about you and being quite rude towards, I don't know, it was just really psychotic. She was cross-examining me. She did explain she was testing me, kind of to see if I was bullshitting or not, which I found quite strange. I didn't feel like when you're a rape victim you should have to go through that. It went on for about 15 minutes and I barely got into it, even though it was really like quite condescending. Like she was talking down to me. She obviously I understood what she was doing, but it was messing with me head. And I ended up walking on. I didn't get any checks. I didn't get any pictures done. My own fault, because I've got no records or nothing. I've got no records of anything. Yeah, I walked out after 15 minutes. As she put it, she just can't say, well, we can swap, but it'll just be left on ice. And nothing will be done about it. I was like, what's the point in doing it then? It felt a bit twisted when I was sat there. Like, one was happy with me, one was judging me, and one was cross-examining me, and my head was just falling off, so I walked out. I walked out, and I stood outside the lady's car that brought me there, the police officer's car that brought me in. And just had big wings. I just thought, I like, weirdly, as mentally unstable as I am, I'm mentally stable enough not to want to kill myself because I'm so used to it. Self-harm has been done in the day, and like attempted suicide has been done in the day, but I'm past that now. Yeah, and I walked out and I was saying to ladies, that's not normal. that's not normal. They really fucked with me. Yeah, bearing in mind I thought Leon was dead as well, so that was on top of it. And yeah, I was just like, that's not a nice thing to do. I mean, I was asleep when it happened, but can you imagine being raped by a few people? I don't know whether it was one person. I don't know whether it was a few people. I'm not sure. But being awake and gang raped, I don't know whether I was gang raped, but I know for a fact dirty things happen to me. But for women that have been sexually assaulted whilst they're awake, I can't imagine them have to be cross-examined the way this lady cross-examined me, talking down to me like I was a child, like I was an idiot, just trying to trip me up. And at the time, I couldn't even make sense of it myself, to be quite honest. I couldn't make sense of it myself. And I just walked out. I burst into tears when I walked out. I was like, women who could go through women who have to go through that before being checked after being raped. I can imagine someone going in and wanting to kill themselves. Do you know what I mean? I can't even, like, I couldn't imagine how a lot of like rape victims feel having to go through that cross-examination and then not wanting to kill themselves afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Because as I was told when I walked in, they said it'd be nice and easy, they'll do it at my pace and all the rest of it. She blew my head up after 15 minutes, like I said. I got back in the car with the two ladies. It's quite a soothing ride home. I went home, broke down, thinking Leon was dead. I should mention names. But yeah, I thought he was dead. And yeah, I just carried on with my day. Like, nothing had happened. I just kept picking myself up. It's what we gotta do as women. And men, we just gotta pick our shit up off the ground and carry on. It's like we put the rucksack of heavy bricks down. For every brick, it's like a bit of mental torture. And for every bit of mental torture, it's just another brick or pebble that adds to the bag. It does get heavy. The more you work through your bricks, the lighter it gets. But I just picked up that rucksack and carried on. I got home, cried all day. And thank God, Leon called that day, he did call that day. It was like a sigh of relief. It was literally like a sigh of relief. Yeah, I went to sleep that night on the Sunday. And no, so on that Saturday, Paul kept going on about going to get me antibiotics, and my God, I wish I went and got them because I could have prevented a hell of a lot. Hopefully anyway, I think my leg would have went bad anyway. I'll get to that. Yeah, so I went back to hospital and I was literally, I went to triage within 5 minutes, and the lady that first seen me when I went in on the Thursday, she looked at me and she was like shocked. She was like, wow, like how fast have you healed? How fast have you healed? I didn't even go straight back in the waiting area. She got me straight through. I seen the doctor. He looked at my leg and he sent me straight to, like, it's like an emergency day centre that A&E sends you to after, it's just like after an assessment, like a follow-up. And I got there, I found out it was going to be a possible 14-hour wait, and my legs stunk of poo. It smelled like poo and it was embarrassing. And like, at the time, the walking centre was quite full. And I felt highly embarrassed sitting in there. I thought, I can't sit in there, they're all going to think I pooed myself. So we sat outside. Yeah, I was highly embarrassed. And when I sat outside, it was a cold day. I was sat on these little chairs. The doors were constantly, the automatic doors were constantly open and shut, and I was cold. After 2 hours, I shouldn't have done it. I discharged myself and went home. I really shouldn't have done it. I really shouldn't have. Yeah, I shouldn't have. The lady that let me discharge myself, she said, if you seem to get if you feel like you're getting sepsis, come straight back in. She practically said I could get antibiotics off my doctor. So I called a taxi from Wanson Hospital, and I decided to go home. In the taxi on the way home, I think it was about 10 minutes into the journey, I started severely getting really, really hot. Like my temperature was, excuse me, my temperature was skyrocketing, and then I was getting to shivers, and in my head, I thought to myself, oh my god, I'm getting sepsis, and I got home, and I thought, this is drastically coming on fast, and I got home and I was checking my arms, and I thought my arms were changing colour, and I got in touch with an ambulance service, and they were quite concerned. I said, I think I've got sepsis, and even my daughter was noticing my arms changing colour. The ambulance service put me right to the top of the list. They said, we can try and get there as soon as possible, but it is going to be about an hour wait. And anyone that's ever had sepsis, like where it's gradually got that fast after like 45 minutes, it's not good. It's not good, and I was convinced I'm gonna die. And after everything that went on, it was another schizo thing that added to the list. So I'm like saying goodbye. So like it's like I'm gonna go to the hospital for a bit. I might lose a leg and all the rest of it. I was convinced I was gonna lose a leg. I ended up walking through, because the taxi, well, they ordered me a taxi. They said they would order me a taxi, they paid for it. The taxi driver didn't take me to like the ambulance bit where you just go in. I had to go through A&E. I sat there for a while. It was ramsacked. In my head, I'm thinking I've got 12 to 24 hours there. And I spoke to the receptionist. And don't get me wrong, I was quite weird. And I think like over time, like my tolerance and my tempers just changed. And like she said, yeah, go sit down, we need to check blood checks, and I'm thinking, I can't sit there for 12 to 14 hours, I'm going to fucking die. So I started flipping my lid. I started getting really aggressive, started saying really nasty stuff. I made a whole show of myself, basically. I'm just glad no one took a video of me and got circulated around Mongo. I'm already fucking laughing and stuff, because what happened abroad. Hopefully people are understanding about mental health. If they're not, then that's just unfortunate. But yeah, so I get home and I just laid on the couch, because I knew if Paul would have seen me at home. Oh yeah, so I went down and got escorted off by police security. I think if Paul would have seen me at home, he would have flipped his lid. So I went home and I laid on the couch weirdly. Within about 2 hours, I just went back to normal. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I felt ashamed of myself. I was like, after all that kick off, I'm fine. And you shouldn't really like go and Google or anything to medicate yourself. But what I did was I went on ChatGPT. And weirdly, it is very explanatory when it comes to medical stuff. So I ChatGPT'd it, my symptoms and everything. And it was basically saying when you've had the stress overload, your body can go shut down, go into panic mode. And basically it can cause like similar symptoms to sepsis. And so it was kind of a relief, but I've been popping ADHD medication all day, so I didn't fall asleep, because I know when you got sepsis, you just want to sleep. I took so much, but I was still shattered. I ended up going out upstairs and I just fell asleep. I swear, after the amount of ADHD meds it's talking being in mind, it's methylphenidate. It's an amphetamine, really. It should drive me wild, but it never. And I just fell asleep. Next day, I had so much to do. So this was the Sunday at this point, and like being a man, my leg was really bad at this point. Paul was convinced me, he was like, you have to go to A&E, you have to stay there. And he tried as hardest he was going on me to get there. And it's like I just kept pushing it to the back of my mind, like, oh, I'll be okay, I'll be okay. Little did I know how bad it got. So I went and I walked in and I said, I can just get antibiotics from my doctor, right? I knew, like I probably couldn't. And like I just walked out and I ran Paul back over. I said, oh, she's just said it. She's referred it to the doctors because I just didn't want to sit there for 14 hours. It's really bad, but sometimes I haven't got the patience to just sit there for 14 hours. It is quite bad, and an impatience thing. I do need to learn to get a bit of patience. Yeah, so I ended up going home with Paul. You kind of knew that, like I didn't have to go to doctors. And then the Monday came, and I went, like, obviously I'd phoned the ambulance service, and they ran me back a bit late in the night. So no, the day I came home, after thinking I had sepsis, which was on the Saturday, the ambulance service ran me. I think it was on the Saturday, it could have possibly been the Sunday. I've lost track of what I'm saying. It was on the Saturday or Sunday. They said, because I said about the cut of my leg, they got back through early. They said there's a walking sense and a witness, which you knew about, but I didn't know you could just go there to get checked. And he's like, yeah, you can go get your dressing changed and checked and get antibiotics from there. So I was seen after about 45 minutes, which was absolutely marvellous. I got seen, I went through, they took the stitches out, and the lady looked, she was like, it looks bad. So she referred me to like a day surgery place where you can kind of get it mixed and sucked and flushed. So I just assumed I'm just going to go to the surgical place and just get my leg flushed and cleared out and then stitched back up. So after going there, my gorgeous sister booked me an Uber. I went to Windsor, had to hand me stuff in at A&E, highly embarrassed to getting off there. So they sent me straight to the surgical ward. It was called the surgical ward. Very, very new there. It's lovely and quiet. I waited in the waiting room, still thinking about it. I think a lot of people smelled it, but I think they just thought it was my natural smell, but it wasn't my natural smell. It was kind of like, it just smelled like rotten flesh. And it was a bad colour at this point. I found like quite late on it, I got checked in a bed. They took swabs, they run all the swabs. There was a man that came in. But bear in mind, by this point, most of the bruises were gone. Like, literally, within a few days. And hopefully I get the pictures back and I will post them. Like, it's a miracle how fast it heals. But all that was left was bruises here. A very aggressive handprint, and this was quite bruised and a little bit on my back. So, considering I was bruised all over, to have those bruises left, there must have been some pressure. As my mum said, surface bruises do heal faster, so those ones were quite abrasive. The ones in my face and on my arm, it's just kind of hard. I was relieved. Anyway, so they had me on this surgical ward. They checked me over. There's a surgeon that came in, basically took some pictures. I was told I'd just have it cut out and all the rest of it. So I went on to a surgical ISDAC ward. I was just convinced I was going to get up in the morning and go for surgery. My dressing wasn't well covered the first day I was there. It wasn't really covered the first day I was there. And bear in mind, by the next day, the swabs came back. So they already knew what was up with my leg. and what it was. Yeah, so that night, so I had to go nil by mouth from, I think it was from 2 in the morning to a certain time. And I got to, it was quite late in the night and I hadn't really slept much. And I was told to go for next day. Surgeons and doctors came in. They said the wounds had gone down to bone, so my head was just like, oh my god, I'm going to lose my leg. I was convinced I was going to lose my leg, bearing in mind this wound had gone black. Well, not quite black, but it was going grey, like severely grey. It like deteriorated so fast. And he said, well, we're not going to do a surgery, we're going to have to do an MRI, see how bad it is. So I was left on this surgical ward, no dressing really, no nothing really covering it. Bearing in mind, like I'm walking around the ward and all sorts, it wasn't good. My mum came down that day, sat on the bed, my sister came round, thank God she didn't bring us on. And then I had my MRI, I didn't have the MRI that day. Bearing in mind, I'm kind of panicking because my leg was getting worse by the hour. I went for the MRI the day after, thankfully. I was in and out, which was perfect. I don't know what I said on the MRI, but when he came back, he said, no, we're not going to do a surgery. We're going to put you on a drip IV antibiotics. They said, we're moving, from the ward. They didn't tell me what was up with my leg, nothing like that. They just moved me ward. And before I went, there was a dressing put on. Finally, bearing in mind, I've been in that bed for quite a few days for like an open wound. And I got taken. It was kind of like, I was told it was like a bone and flesh surgical ward. I'm guessing that's what was underneath me, but technically what I was put on was like an old people's ward, and a lot of them had dementia there. I had to be in a room by myself. I was told I had MRSA, and I didn't even know what MRSA was because they didn't explain it's like the severity of MRSA and like how easily it's caught or anything like that. And like an old people's ward, and it got to the rest of it got put on an IV drip. Fantastic. I was on IV drips in surgical anesthetic, which used to be ward 10. It's kind of like a move on, but when I got in the ward, I was put on antibiotics, which was fantastic. My phone's so hot right now, it's like it's going to explode. Let's see what battery it's on. It's only on 37%, that's a slow charge up. So it was a good thing, it was nice and dressed. I didn't understand the severity of it. My partner, he called me that day and kind of explained to me how severe MRSA was. He told me about a neighbour of his. I don't know how close his neighbour was. I'm not even 100% that he said neighbour. But he was telling me about him. He said he got MRSA and it like drastically covered around his body, and this man lost both his legs. I don't know if he died. I can't remember if my partner said he died or not. But I know his MRSA spread pretty bad, and I was still convinced I was going to lose my leg. At that point, like I'd accepted it. I was like, I'm going to lose my leg. I just accepted it. Doctor came back the next day. He was like, we're not going to take your leg. We're just going to keep you on the IV drip. Keep an eye on it. So it continued. I had a dressing on, but I genuinely didn't realise how severe it was. But I had a dressing on. No doctors told me I couldn't leave the room. And I was really clean. I was cleaning my hands consistently. I was cleaning my legs. I was very clean. The room was getting cleaned daily at the time. They gave me wipes. I was literally wiping the walls, and every time I went to the toilet, I was scrubbing the toilets, because obviously there's old ladies in there and old men. I was there in separate toilets, but with MRSA, it's easily caught. And obviously I didn't know when your wounds like covered, you're not gonna catch it. So I was wiping the toilet every time I came, I started freaking out. But that night, being in hospital, being a man's been in hospital 4 days at this point. I'm pretty sure it was 4 days. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 4 days. So I went for the wander around the hospital. I just went for the wander. Met some lovely lady, obviously on hardcore drugs, you could tell. I think she was on a bit of a come down at the point. You could tell she hadn't eaten for a while, which happens sometimes when you get that disease of hardcore drugs that rules your life and becomes a bad circle of having to take or go empty. And I got some munchies and she was absolutely lovely. I chatted to her and it was nice to talk to her. I don't get to talk to her. I do talk to people, of course I do, but I isolate myself quite a lot when I'm at home for a holiday and all the rest of it. And yeah, so she was lovely. It was nice to speak to her. I went back to the ward, and because obviously at the time I had like a quite not like sewn up MRSA, because the only parts that were infected from MRSA were the ones that had been like sewn. But I had a few pricks in my legs, and I walked back on the ward, and it probably was in my head, but I was convinced the ladies were thinking that I'd been injected just for being with someone that was on hardcore drugs. But like it was just nice to talk to someone on my level. Like it's weird, some people get you, some people don't. And she left and went back on the walk, like I said, and I went to my room. I'm pretty sure I had a dance around my room. It was either that day or the next day. Like rather than just dwelling on what happened on that holiday, I just like picked myself up and thought I'd sooner be happy. So I think that night I did sleep. I woke up the next day. I had my IV drip all the rest of the day carried on. And I started to lose the plot again. I'm walking around the hospital. I was convinced everyone was talking about me. I was in everyone's mouths. But this time I don't think it was in my head, and I'll explain why this has been going on about some 37 minutes already. So yeah, my head was skipping a bit. It's like with schizophrenia, I don't know if a lot of people know, but a lot of time you feel like kind of like the main character of your own movie in a sort of sixth sense, and it was kind of getting to me. And I kept smelling this smell, that smell of blood, and it was really, really messing with me head. I was seeing, I was convinced I was seeing bugs in my room. I was convinced it was crawling all over my body. Like I felt dirty. It just didn't feel nice. I felt like stuff was crawling on me. I'm not a fan of bugs as it is. And when they said, yeah, it's like bugs on your leg, like that was it. It was like, oh. And it just kept freaking me out. Yeah, but I was still going at my room, I was still going for the city, but I think this is why I ended up in quite a lot of the miles, because obviously the surgeons and all the rest of it see me going up. Yeah, I don't think that many of them are very educated on how they catch MRSA. As silly as it sounds, I asked quite a few doctors and they didn't have a clue. I'm glad I asked them, because they educated them, unless they're playing silly, because I don't know. Yeah, so I went outdoors and I had a little mooch. I went back, and that night I went back to the room and I just had a party in the room. Not on drugs or anything like that. I think I had a couple of cans of Pepsi Max. I just danced all night. I felt great. I felt really good. So good. I've had a little messy pan. Technically I should be asleep right now. They don't like it, doesn't quite hit me. I had a methylphenidate this morning, which is fucking fabulous, but I think because of the amount of weight I've lost, it's affecting me a bit differently, because obviously it goes by your weight gain and how long it lasts in your system. It lasts up to 14 hours. When I was a bit bigger, it was only lasting about 10 hours. Yeah, and anyway, so yeah, they had the dance that night. I'll go back a bit. So it kind of felt like I was in everyone's mouths, and it's like like obviously when you're very schizophrenic, like I said, you're already feel like everyone's talking about you, and there's a few like I couldn't boogies and like fakes and that like aliens taking over bodies, which sounds really weird. I thought for the longest time, weirdly you can point them out, and I can point them out when I'm in a class, and when you're with people like when I've been feeling like that is standing out differently, that person, and like a lot of people get onto it, unless it's just agreeing with me because I'm a psycho, and yeah, so it was getting a bit weird, but then I had to have a party, and then the day after that, my hair was skipping even more. I woke up and I was convinced I was a fucking vampire, not the fucking first time I thought I was a vampire. I thought I was in a colony with vampires, and Kelly adopted a werewolf and all this shit. I thought he adopted a werewolf, and I was covered in the werewolf in water, and I was heat. God knows what goes on in my magic head. Weirdly, shit like that does make you feel strong. I'm imaginatively wealthy, but sometimes it's not for the best. I guess if I was writing books, my God, I could write some fantastic books. But yeah, so I kind of thought I had like this dog and like this werewolf. Like some of us were werewolves and some of us were like vampires. And I was walking around the hospital and I was like kind of convinced that everyone knew I was walking with a werewolf. Like, bear in mind, it was all fathomed in my head. But I could see him, like, walking next to me and that. Like, my imagination's crazy, like, crazy. And I get back to the ward, and then all of a sudden, my head started telling me, it's not a dog, it's a bug. You're colonising with the bugs, and I just started wigging out. I was like, you get these bugs away from me. I'm not a bug fan. I'd say I'm not have bugs. Be me bestie. So yeah, me had to skip the beat. I laid in bed, I felt so dirty. But for a long time, I keep thinking like this is part of the relevance for seeing bugs. I've always thought like so as I see it, like plastics made from fossil fuel. Well, like not one of fossil fuel. Yeah, fossil fuel. And I can't see it as because plastic's man-made in a sense. And I kind of see it as if you mix books with fossil fuel, it'll make food that's like plastic that we could potentially one day turn into the most flavourous, nutritious sort of ingredient was. Do you know what? Like I started thinking, so when I was abroad, I think it was just them RSA all over my bed, you know, and I was seeing them RSA all around. I don't even know. But like a little bit of cotton just kept turning up on my foot. And I was convinced like these little bugs of MRSA or whatever the fuck they were like making like all shitting out cotton. I kept saying, well, if you bugs eat our shit and we eat your cotton, like we'll be able to make some. What the fuck goes on in my mind? I don't know what to say out loud. It just sounds fucking mental, and it is really mental. Like I started thinking like a way, because I've always thought like stomachs are irrelevant. It's just an empty, it's like a void. It just constantly needs filling. And what the stomachs do, they create poo. Poo's not good. No one likes poo. No one wants poo. And I've always had this like dream that eventually we'll evolve to not have a stomach. And it won't become relevant. And that we could eat a man-made food that's not taken off the earth and isn't eating any consciousness off the earth. Yeah, because believe it or not, plants have consciousness. I also can't. I've had that dream for a long time. So yeah, like the bug thing, I started thinking, oh, we've got to like work together, but it's like real kiwi. And then like it was like, no, I've just got to get that out of my mind, And my head was skipping by this point. And then I went out this day. I used to go by Burton once and out the doors there. Because sometimes, like, I don't know why, but the security were locking the doors at 10 o'clock. And it was like, I think they were doing it deliberately because they've never done it before. They've never locked the entrance at 10 o'clock. You could walk out, but you couldn't get back in. So I was going to Burton once and smoking out there, which a lot of people do. And bearing in mind, a lot of people weren't educated on MS either. So with going on to Burton, I think they thought I was spreading the infection. To spread an infection of MRSA, I genuinely have to touch the wound, touch a surface or something. You touch that surface, get the bugs on you, and then touch a wound. My wounds were well and truly covered, vacuum covered. Just going on there, I'm gonna have to freeze off in a minute. So, yeah, I was going out to Burton I walked out and my head said, like, so I've always I've for a long time had this spirit in my head. I was convinced that it was Leon's twin brother. He was like 12 years old and all this shit. Fuck knows why, but weirdly, like, the spirit that was with me helped me through my darkest times in a weird way. He helped me get through a lot throughout the year, but some of the shit he was saying, like, the spirit, is probably just me fucking head. It probably was me head, but I don't think it was at the same time. He kept saying, the family is there, you need to get dark, don't see your ginger there, imagine it really dark. And I imagined I had a panther sphere, which is like such a beautiful back. And I kind of felt like I had to mix in. And like, it fucked with me out. I was like, I don't feel like I fitted in. Obviously, that was all me fucking head. I fucking knew who it was anyway. And I go back upstairs and I'm still thinking all sorts about. I got into bed, I'm pretty sure I slept. I had IV drips and go, and I fucking hated like the cannulas. I fucking hate them, they're horrible. Like, when you put them in your hands, you can barely wash your hands properly before they're falling out your arm, before they ends up clean cords and the tape's falling off and all sorts. I went back onto the ward. I'm still thinking all sorts. I got my head down. I woke up in the morning. This was that night. I can't go on to shit. I can't realise that my mouth really is. Because I kept, like, me mouth, like, kept in she. And they were blatantly talking about me on this word. I'm laughing a joke about situations. Thinking a lot of it was made up in my head. Which it was, but I've got mental health problems. I don't think people should be so prejudiced about mental health problems. I mean, it's a serious issue. I'm not a violent, mentally ill person, but I do go through a lot mentally. I felt like a laughing stock of the world, and that night I heard a girl say quite a few vile things about me. One that I specifically remember was, because obviously I mentioned about getting raped over there and how bad I smelled, and I've never smelled like that before, and I'm a relatively clean person. And she said she probably didn't wash for a week, that's why her family stank. I was like, oh my lord. And then on top of that, there was just so much more. I was like, wow. And I felt like you had to say something so well. So I went, no, actually, I do wash. Even whilst I've been here, even though I haven't used the bathroom, I'm washing in the sink. And I do clean myself daily. Just because I'm not, like, scrubbing in the bathtub doesn't mean I'm not scrubbing myself in a sink. And they apologised and had a lot to say. And I was like, listen, it is what it is. I heard what I heard, but do me a favour. If you want to talk to me, but do me a favour. Don't badmouth me like that. It's not nice. Which it's not. No one wants to be badmouthed. And I guess talking about me must be more interesting than what's going on in the room was. Just an easier way of thinking about it. But I continue to be the talk of the ward. My sister came the day after, and I explained, because obviously that same day I noticed someone, I think it was that day, I noticed someone in Greg's blatantly telling quite a lot of people that were visiting or going for appointments that were sat in Greg's and Costa that there was a girl walking around with MRSA. And my sister came around that day, but before she turned up, So a few cleaners made quite a disgusting comment, like, she's going by the kids' word. And like, as I know, because I understand them more or less, because I Google shit and I do my fucking research. Google's not always spot on, but if you're on the NHS website, it's pretty bang on. I don't think a lot of people in there educated themselves about it. So they were saying quite nasty things, and I did like a lot of nasty things when I was walking past the cleaners. But I try not to pry into people's conversations. It's just not something I do. I'd sooner ignore it, especially if they're bad mouthing me. If they're bad mouthing me, that's for them. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want my feelings hurt. And they said something like, oh my God, she's going by the kids' words again. But I wasn't, I was walking to the entrance, but I thought, you know what, I will go through the bit and was, I'm bearing in mind, you have to press a buzzer to get onto the kids' ward. It's nowhere near the kids' ward. It's not far from the kids' ward, but it's not on the kids' ward. It's an opening where people go to have a ciggy. So I do think it was quite weird. And then not long before my sister came up, I went upstairs, and what was quite sick in the head, and bearing in mind the whole ward that I was on, 86, knew that I had mental health issues. And then this lad comes up with kind of like practice CPR on dummies and stuff. He brought 3 dummy heads up, like with young kids. Obviously to fuck with me out, 100%. Because he had them there for 15 minutes while girls were looking at me, talking quite disgustingly about me. Making it quite blatant, you know what I mean, not that. And then I heard someone say such and such, just come and just move it. So we moved it, and then my sister came up. I was like, oh, thank God, I've got someone. We went downstairs and I explained everything. We had a right giggle. I explained like I'd been walking through the hospital feeling like I'm part of the fucking Truman Show and my head was fucking going. I explained what happens on the hospital on the holiday. We had a right giggle. And it felt good to just get a laugh from my chest and just laugh about it. Because sometimes laughing about your trauma is the best way to deal with it. Just laugh it off. Just laugh it off. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of serious stuff, but after you cried, just laugh it off. It did help quite a bit. She ended up coming to my room, and already I was the laughing stock of the world. My sister came out, I was very concerned. As she would be, especially after what happened in Egypt, because my mum and my family genuinely thought I was gonna get carried home in a body bag or put in a prison over there. And yeah, so after the holiday and everything that happened on the ward, they were quite concerned. So my sister spoke to one of the nurses who was bad-mouthing me quite a fair bit. And said she's just unwell. She wasn't wrong, I was unwell, but I've been going through that long now with the schizo shit. I don't even notice as it being ill anymore. I just see it as being a fucking imaginative fucking dance in the brain. And it's not something I make up myself. It's like someone puts 50p in a fucking carousel and it just keeps going round and round. It's like, now it's another story. God knows, there's a theme park up there. You never know what's going to go on, but I never fabricate. It's like someone triggers it. And it's like, the stories come on. God, I could write some books. But yeah, so they left and I was really nasty to Arsha. Probably the worst shit I've ever said to her. I called her a rat. And being in mind, Arsha's like my best mate. She's the one that's been through me through thick and thin when I've been at my lowest and all the rest of it. So I did feel quite bad, but I was just fuming. I was like, how can you not believe me? How can you not believe me? When no one believes you, you start doubting yourself. Maybe some of it was in my head, but I knew for the fact a lot of it wasn't. So after Charles left, I walked through the hospital. A lot of people I walked past had their heads down. They couldn't even look me in the eye. That's pure guilt. That's pure guilt. Yeah, that's pure guilt. I mean, I didn't even feel sorry for them. It's like, you should feel guilty. You've made a very ill person the talk of the town in the whole hospital. And even the security guards, like, when it came out, knew that it got to them. It travelled around. Like, I was the talk of the town in there. And to be quite honest, I think what didn't help was the kick-off at A&E. when I went mental thinking I had sepsis anyway. So I goes back to my room and shit just went sour. Shit just went, was it that day? I'm not sure it was that day. I think it was the day after. It was either the day our shower came or the day after. But I followed one anyway. So there was a lady there. She was supposed to give me my IV drip. I do think she forgot or she got sidetracked. Bearing in mind the doctor that came out early that day, he said what the antibiotic that we've got you on is working perfectly fine, so we're going to keep you on it. I thought, great, it's working great, it's healing my leg. It looks so much better as well. You could tell it was healing. I heal so fast. This is going on a little bit. I'm going to try and cut it off after 5 minutes. So, I had a bit. So my back got stolen at my room, and I was like, that's not on. Don't give me my room. Steal my stuff, girls. So we made up a bit of house fuss about it. I thought, can't be arsed. So we just walked the garage and got some ciggies. I thought, he's pathetic. He needs to grow up. He's supposed to be women and he's doing shit like that. It's pathetic. Get over the floor. I just went to the garage and got some ciggies. I went outside and when I came up, I said, so, because obviously the Claire thought I was doing wrong by going out for a ciggy. Bearing in mind, I was doing one hand sanitizer when I went everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Hand sanitizer everywhere. And I went outside. Bearing in mind, I had mums like scouring me with the eyes. So the public that knew in there weren't happy with me. And bearing in mind, that's data protection. Do you know what I mean? You're not allowed to do that. So shit was getting on. And yeah, so I started back here. I went to the shop, got ciggies, came back. And there was a lady I spoke to, and I said, so you take me back in. Am I allowed to smoke in my room then? Because you clearly don't want me going outside. Which caused up an awful fuss. I didn't say I was actually going to smoke in the room. But obviously with there being oxygen or whatever the fuck was in there, could have caused an explosion. So it kind of got a bit of a fuss. I was like, you're making a fucking massive deal out of it. I'm not going to fucking smoke in my room. And there's a lady there, quite adamant that I weren't getting past her and all the rest of it. I was like, come on, love, what the fuck's your problem? Obviously thought she was a bit better than me, a bit taller. Kept her cool. And by this point, I'm pretty human, do you know what I mean? I've had my back stolen, and now I've got 4 nurses at my door intimidating me, and it was like, I don't need this shit. I don't need this shit. I've got too much going on, do you know what I mean? And anyway, she scooted off after a while. Bearing in mind, I'd already missed me 6 o'clock antibiotics. The night staff came on, a lady called Jem, who spread a lot of stuff on that ward, because she was on the exec ward when me fucking a lot of me Egypt story came out, which she found highly fucking amusing. To the ward, hence why I ended up like a laughing stock. And I'm not one for listening to conversations, but what I could there's always a paper film, and they weren't very quiet about what they were saying. Yeah, so the night staff came up. At this point, security came up. They said they have to keep my door open. I was like, I'm a 34-year-old woman. I don't want to keep my door open, thank you. So, well, at least open your curtains. I was like, no, I don't want to be in a fishbowl. I'm fucking 34-year-old woman. I deserve my fucking privacy. What, because these ladies can steal me back in and then intimidate me? Because I suggested, not even suggested, but because I asked if I could smoke in my room. And they said I was going to. Well, I suggested it. Obviously, I weren't going to. But I was making a point at this point. Joe was very odd bot. She's very fake. So she'll act nice to your face, and then she'll laugh at you as soon as she walks away. Act very innocent and sweet and innocent to your face, and then absolutely laugh at you when she walks away. In the end, I left the door open. I said, no, just leave it open a little bit. I thought, you know what, I'm going to stand here tonight and I'll talk to you guys. So I spoke to them, and for once I spoke to them. And I was like, so where's me back? Like, where's me back you go? And it just got weird and weird that Joe, she came into my room, quite a bit of coke in her name. So I was like, well, you're obviously doing coke whilst looking after old people. And like, at that point I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna get you done. And like, she wasn't nice. I got a recording of her trying to change my medication, my IV. Bear in mind, it's only certain antibiotics that work with MRSA, so it can save me. She kept saying, no, your IV is not due till 3 o'clock. Hang on a minute. No, it's not. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, I'm not daft. It hasn't been changed, and it's not 3 o'clock. A security came back up at that point because she was pissing me off. I was just fucking talking to them. I just kept talking to them, not about them. Talking to them, not about them like they did it with me. Obviously, I'm more interested in their lives. The only time people talk about you is when you're more interested in them. Anywho, yeah, so like, that was the highlight of their night. I'm glad they had something to talk about, to be quite honest. It's just a shame that it was nothing nice about me. Yeah. So I talked to them and I gave them exactly what they gave me. And I thought it was very childish between them, some of the things they were doing. This lady from another ward came down, she knew exactly where the backy was. She was like, where's the keys, where's the keys? Eventually she had to walk up. Obviously she had to go out for the colleagues, and at the end of the day I was fucking records on this shit, because I was like, yeah, when my backy turns up, I'm fucking getting used done. Well, I understand that, a nurse looking after the nurses, I don't understand that. Bearing in mind, whole fucking hospital we're talking about me by this point. That's not in my fucking head. That's not in my head. I clicked on. I clicked on. Maybe a bit of it was in my head, but I'll explain anyway. So then it goes on, and so I'm like, yeah, so they thought like she rings for an ornithologist. I can't even remember what they're called. It's a bit late right now. But the bone and leg doctor, a surgeon, he comes running up, and because there's only a doctor that can change that medication on that system, he comes running up. Do you know what I did? I started screaming, security! Not one of those old people who call. Fuck man, like their deep sleepers then. Hearing aids must have been off. The fucking doctor, he ran away. Obviously, it's because I knew exactly what he was doing. Eventually, he came back up. But by this point, security were there as well. They totally had my back, 100% had my back. Yeah, so I got him on camera, basically talking to another I don't even know what they call, specialist for the legs and bones. And he basically had a discussion about the antibiotic that I was on. And he said, yeah, I agree, sticking to the plan. She's staying on the fluoxetine or whatever it was, the antibiotic. And I got another recording of him. I went, so what medication am I on? It was a totally different one to what he said on the phone. So yeah, it got changed. Night just escalated. I ended up walking down to Amy. I was like, I'm not staying on that ward, using the rest. But I stayed on for a little bit. Some of the things he was saying outside was quite sick. Going on about meds, overdose and all the rest of it. Because by this point I had a lot of shit on some of the nurses, especially with data protection, and a lot of them would have got fired. Rightfully so. I would have got them fired. I didn't have a lot of it recorded on my phone. I never said I did, but I never. But I remembered a lot of it, but it's a word against mine. I went downstairs to A&E to try and charge my phone. I explained to everyone about the MRSA not being curable. A few people had said I'm pretty, quite a lot of them were like, yeah, we've been told on here about your MRSA. That might have been in my head though. But I explained to people. Bear in mind, my head's pretty much gone at this point. Sometimes I don't realise how well I actually am to talk about it. But yeah, so I'm going to schizo at this point. And I tried getting a taxi. Taxi comes, and it's like the taxi driver's already been warned she's got MRSA. So it got really funny with me. It's like no payment up front. Obviously, my fucking phone was there and all the rest of it. I think I was like 2% charge. I didn't have a lot of charge. I did have to pay him when I got home. Like, the kids started paying when he got home. So he refused to take me. I went back in. A&E, so triage brought me in. And do you know what they said? They said there's no records of you coming to A&E. And I'm like, why the fuck is that? So they've wiped everything. Didn't know whether it was by accident or not. I ended up going back up to doors. A lady admitted that she'd spat in all my drinks. I'm not going to drink that. Being in mind, earlier that day, I had someone change my bed and I spit on my bedding. There was just a nice little spit mark on my bedding. Fucking charming. That's not nice. Not for the patients who's never been rude to them. Yeah, so I went back to A&E. So yeah, I was in triage at this point and said, we've got no records. Have you been coming to A&E? And it's like, so how many on surgical anesthetic have I been? Bear in mind, I've been to A&E quite a few times, which was a bit strange. And then I went and sat back down and charged my phone a bit more. And then I just got off. Actually, no, sorry. I went back upstairs to A6. And Ruth there, Joe there, Joanne, I think her name is, but Joe there, was writing all sorts of having shit. And the doctor was rewriting some of my fucking documents up from A&E. Obviously, a lot of it very fabricated, but they had to write something up, because if people get to it and there's no records of me being there, they're liable for that. Probably not. They probably would have had to pay out. This was going on a bit. It's 1 hour, 6 minutes so far. Yeah, so I didn't feel safe. Some of the things they were saying, like overdose and such and such. And this was a paper thing. I knew exactly what they were saying. It weren't voices in my head. It weren't whispers in my ears. It was blatant fucking voices. I'm welcome in the fuck house. I called the fucking voice. It's like, I'm fucking safe in here. I walked back into A&E and then I ended up just walking up. I told a few of the girls, if MRSA is flying around the hospital and you're trying to pin it on me, I won't be pinned, because it was obviously the doctors and our nurses that left me with an open wound. And you know, like that's going to be widespread. I do feel like a lot of wards are going to get closed down in Wellington because of MRSA. My MRSA, yeah, more than likely. But I didn't cause it. I didn't know I had MRSA until they told me when I got on A6, but I can't lost me really. I ended up smashing the wall after, which is really naughty. Some of the things she was writing about me in it though, it was awful, very, very, very vile things about why I've gone to A&E, and I was like, no, Joe, you're not doing that. Bearing in mind, after the holiday that I had, I'm thinking Leon was dead and all the rest of it, my head was popping off its Charlie. So I smashed her phone as well. Bearing in mind, I think it was about an hour before that she sat down and I went, you're all in on this, aren't you? She blatantly said, yes, we are. I didn't know. It was just clarification, and my God, I wish I got that on camera, because she would have lost her fucking job. I don't feel like they should be working on awards like that. I walked past a room, that person was in all awards, and it stank of shit. No one was going in there to clean this man's ass or this lady's bum, but it stunk of him. Bearing in mind, a lot of these got dementia and stuff, so they don't, like, I don't know how far it's gone or the ins and outs of dementia, but you pee yourself, you know you gotta get changed. A lot of these old people can't even stand up and walk to the toilet, so it is like kind of the bed service. Anywho, I walked out the hospital at that point. I ended up walking straight out. I ended up going to the gas station. I thought I needed to go somewhere with cameras. Like, at this point, I was fearing for my life. It sounds mad, doesn't it? But I was fearing for my life for the second time. Yeah, but a lot of that hospital weren't fabricated. A lot of it weren't fabricated. They weren't in my head in that hospital. Obviously, the imagination shit at the beginning. Well, like, could you imagine it, a whole hospital constantly staring at you, hearing your name in everyone's mouths? Like, you don't know whether you're arguing schizo or not, because I've been through schizo stuff, and it is quite similar, but I was not going fucking schizo. Joe blatantly admitting it, that they were all in on it. I was like, solid proof. Yeah. I walked out, I had a little t-shirt on. Yeah. No, I don't even know what pants I had on. I waited at the gas station all of a sudden. 2 people get out of a taxi. And they were really nice to me, but I was so scared. I thought someone's gonna fucking kill me. Someone's gonna kill me. I had like 4% on my phone, didn't have much battery. Yeah, I thought they were gonna kill me. So they kept trying to offer me to get a ride home with the dad, and I was like, I don't trust anyone right now. I just don't trust anyone. I'm gonna cut this off in a minute. She said, well, if the police don't, because the police were refusing to come, the mental health team were putting the phone down on me. The ambulance service weren't taking me seriously. And I kind of felt like it was like a cult at that point. Like, they'd all been told, and it was just some sort of fucking weird cult. It was weird. Yeah, so this lady that I was with, she's lovely. She bought me a little meal deal, a butty, a cake and a drink. Well, she said just fucking smash the window. Where's the worst police will come now? So we got the girl, and like, that was working at the garage. Obviously it's only hatch at that point, you can't go through the door. I said, listen, call the police or I'm going to smash that window. You've got 5 minutes. She called the fucking police. Been about 5 minutes, he turned up. And it was weird because they were reluctant to get in that car. They were hanging outside that car. I said, get them to take me home. I got them to strap me after my sisters, which was probably the worst idea in the world, because she knew I was going there and said some really nasty things a few days before, so it was the last place she wanted me to go. I ended up going home. My son was in the living room. God, I've embarrassed my son so much. It's not nice for children seeing you go through stuff. Man, like, up until last year, my kids, I'd hid it really, really well, but last year it wasn't a healthy year. So, excuse me, very gassy. Do you know your birth part when you're being spiritually attacked? It's a way of releasing it, and all I've done all day is beer. So I go home. I've got an open wound. All I did was sleep. I slept for 2 days straight. I just slept. Bearing in mind, I had lying on IV, I had a dirty pad on me. Bearing in mind, my dressing was supposed to get, not pad, like a sandwich tablet, like a dressing. Bearing in mind, it's supposed to get changed on a daily. I hadn't been changed, and I was worrying about that. I didn't want to go back to hospital. The mental health team were involved at this point. I'd seen 2 psychiatrists, so at this point I was getting admitted into hospital. It takes 2 psychiatrists to leave before you go into hospital. Like, they were just waiting for the bed the next day. The police knock on the door, and I'm like, are they coming to, like, take me back to hospital to get me IV and all the rest of it? Because I didn't sign out from that hospital. Apparently I did, obviously it was forged. Yeah, so I ended up getting arrested. My ex-partner got me arrested. I went and seen him after a heart attack on the street, thinking he was going to die. My best mate, 27 years, made out he's on his last fucking legs. So I went and seen him Wednesday Moscow, but I was thinking he was going to die. He had me running around errands, which I offered to do, which I did. I didn't have a lot of money, but I did it for him. I came back, I gave him it. At that point I was like, listen, me and you, it'll never be. And I think he kind of got a bit of hope inside of him. And like, it never would have been. So like I'm with Leon, like, we're in a solid relationship. And I went home. So this is why he got me arrested. Not long, so about a year earlier, I've sent him an email because I knew he was tossing about with my best mate 27 years. And I thought, I'm just having filthy talk, putting their mouths about things I told them from the past, like a lot of trauma I told them from the past. And I thought, they're going to be talking all sorts about me. So I was kind of bottling them up before they spread rumours about me. I can't make that like it was all my fault. I done a good job of making out like it was all my fault, because now he really is convinced it's all my fault. That's cool use on me. That's cool use on me. I'd be all my fault. Why we split up and why he was always gaslighting, that's absolutely cool. But the reason I got arrested was because I wrote an email and I went and seen him in the hospital, and I got him stuff. It was like breach of bail, so a few years before, not long, a year before I smashed his window. I thought I was going through miscarriage. I fell pregnant. I was wanted a baby for 7 years, and I fell pregnant. And yeah, I thought I was going through miscarriage, and I ended up smashing his window. Probably really reckless thing to do. I'd never done anything like that before in my life. Yeah, so obviously he was pissed off. I think he just wanted to get his own back on me. Yeah, so I got arrested for that, and yeah, probably from being in the cellars, I think it was about 5-6 hours later. Probably longer. I think it was a lot longer, because when in the morning, it was like night time by the time I left. They took me to Clockview, or wherever that is, to get assessed. And I ended up in this assessment room. Oh God, I felt so empty. inside. I felt dead inside. I felt dead. Like literally dead. Like empty dead. It was horrible. Like, they got me an egg butty and egg salad, and I've not really ate eggs for a long time, and I couldn't eat it. It just wasn't filling me. All I needed was a good cry. I needed a good cry just to feel sometimes cleansiness, or it's a healer. My partner calls me, then I suppose he was dead again. Why do you keep thinking he's dead? I just worry about him, that's all. And he called me, we had a great conversation this evening. And I hadn't had a ciggy in quite a while. Thankfully, when I first got to Clockview, a lovely man gave me a ciggy, gave me a couple of ciggies, but they got some breakfast. And then the man that works there, he got a 20-pack of ciggies and gave me 10. I kept saying, let me put the money in your bank, let me put the money in your bank. He kept saying, oh no, do me at the hospital. I stopped on it. I tried getting in touch with the waiting area in Clockview, the assessment area. I haven't had no luck, but I'm going to try. I'm going to continue. I'm very shocked. I'm like, oh, I thought you forget about that. Yeah, it was really nice. Like, so I was supposed to be going to a hospital in Wanson. Can't think of what it's called. And they put me in the Brooker Centre, which is a lovely hospital. Staff are really nice. It's comfortable, it's cozy, it's clean, and the food's amazing. Yeah, so they brought me here, and they all came in a taxi with me, and it was soothing the store all together, and they were lovely staff. They brought me in. All I came in with was the clothes I went to prison in, or went to the cells in, and I had nothing. There was a lovely girl, Lucy, working that night. She took me into the little cupboard where a lot of the girls, like, if they don't like stuff, they'll leave it there in case anybody else wants it. And yeah, there was like SpongeBob night clothes. Oh God, I looked like I was dying the first time that I got here. I'd gone down to 55 kilograms, which is about 8 stone 6, which is a lot of weight to lose for me. It drastically like that. All year was scabby, absolutely scabby. Hair looks really old, like worse than what I do now. Like, this is an improvement, trust me. I looked really old. This is really banking on a little bit. Anyway, I got a lot of help. I've been on this for a bit, and it's fucking lovely. I do feel like I fucked up, and girls don't like me no more. I don't know. I had a bit of a history for it. To move on. I feel a lot of shame and a lot of guilt for it. And if the girls don't like me, I can understand. I've been isolated. It's that first time it's happened in my life. But hey ho, I'm in hospital, and this is a lovely hospital, and finally being hospitalised and talking about what I've been going through, it's coming to light that I haven't been well. A lot of the time when I'm going through mental psychosis throughout the day, I push it to the back of my mind, because it's like, it fluctuates through the day where I'm going through mental psychosis. It's like I'm high all the time without being high. It never stops. So the imagination is on a constant, and it's like when you're high, it's kind of like a battle. You like battling with yourself, and you always win. But it's kind of like a battle, and I've been doing that so long. I got here and I still went well. I thought everyone was like clowns or some shit. Because I kind of recognise everyone that's here, so I thought they're all clowns. Because a lot of them don't recognise me except one lady. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. She gave me some headphones. I had a bit of a freak out about them today. I think that's a little problem I caused. I'm not nice, so I do get angry. I'm not violent in the slightest, unless someone hurts me first. Obviously, I've got to defend myself, but I'm not a violent person. But my God, I've got a wicked temper on me when I lose stuff. I think stuff's been stolen. My Lord, I felt so bad. I felt so guilty. Like, 'cause I found them in my bra. So a lady in here gave me earbuds. Like, she bought earbuds. She had 2 packets and she gave me some earbuds. And I couldn't find the right box for the earbuds. And you can't connect it to your phone unless you've got the buds. Like the earbox, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I can't force the lady in here. And I swear, I love her. She's awesome. I connect with her because she's just so chill. And she just doesn't care about what anyone thinks. I love her. She's a lovely girl. And I got it in my head that she was a collectomaniac. So my head was skipping. And I started getting angry. I fucking felt guilty as shit. But it's shameful. Guilt's not nice. You feel shame. But yeah, I'm in my room now, giving myself my own personal therapy, as you fucking do. Yeah, it's like a personal log. Because one day I'll be fucking right as staying, I'll be a therapist, living my best life, because I'm not giving up. I am getting better. I give myself psychology, I listen to a lot of audio books, like mental mastery, a lot of self-healing books, and I'm getting it. Whenever I go down, I just pick my shit back up and just fucking carry on. So, peace out.